Please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because the luxury watch world is entering a weird new era, and most people still think it's 2019. For decades, Rolex built its image on two things: status and reliability. The idea was simple: buy one, service it on schedule, and it'll outlive you. That reputation didn't come from hype. It came from years of movements that were genuinely hard to kill. But here's the paradox we're stuck with now. As Rolex pushed modern engineering to chase bigger numbers on paper, a separate market grew in the shadows. One that has gotten uncomfortably good at copying the look and even the layout of the real thing. And today, we're going to break down what that actually means in practice, without the fanboy myths, without the panic, and without the marketing. We'll talk about why modern Rolex movements are being debated more than ever, what super clone discussions reveal about the industry, and why the true cost of ownership in 2026 is starting to feel like a trap for normal buyers. Quick definition that matters for everything you're about to hear: amplitude. Amplitude is basically the swing of the balance wheel. Think of it like the movement's energy level. Healthy amplitude usually means the movement has good power transfer and isn't bleeding energy through friction. Low amplitude is where accuracy starts to drift, especially in vertical positions, and it's often an early warning sign that something inside isn't happy. To understand why this topic exploded, you have to go back to the old workhorse era. For a long time, Rolex leaned on the caliber 3135. It wasn't glamorous. It didn't chase huge spec sheet flexes. It just ran. It became the movement that owners trusted because it didn't feel fragile, and it didn't demand constant drama to keep good time. But the industry changed. Competitors started treating power reserve like a headline feature, and suddenly 48 hours sounded weak on paper, especially when people wanted to take a watch off Friday night and still have it running Monday morning. Rolex's answer was the newer generation, like the 3235, with big promises: longer reserve, improved efficiency, lots of new components, lots of engineering pride. And to be fair, on paper, the 3235 is impressive. Rolex clearly squeezed more out of the same physical space by redesigning parts like the mainspring system and improving efficiency through their escapement design. But here's where the real-world conversation starts. When you chase efficiency and numbers that hard, tolerances get tighter, friction becomes more dangerous, and lubrication behavior matters more than most buyers realize. And once lubrication becomes a make-or-break variable, the movement can become less forgiving over time. The pattern people argue about is usually the same. The watch looks perfect early, then later it starts showing problems. Accuracy slipping, reserve feeling shorter than expected, and performance dropping in certain positions. Owners don't usually notice the technical reason. They just feel the result. My expensive watch doesn't feel as consistent anymore. Now, I need to be careful here. Not every watch has issues, not every owner sees the same performance, and nobody should turn one story into a blanket statement. But the reason this discussion won't die is because the fix often feels temporary. A service can bring performance back, but if the movement design is less tolerant of small friction increases over time, the same symptoms can show up again later. And that's what makes people angry, because the whole Rolex myth is bulletproof forever. Not great if you budget for headaches. At the exact same time, the replica counterfeit conversation changed too. This is where I'm going to frame it responsibly. Counterfeits are illegal in many places, and I'm not encouraging anyone to buy or use them. But as a market reality, they exist, and their quality improving has created a new kind of pressure on the luxury industry. Years ago, the easiest way to spot a fake was weight, cheap finishing, or a movement that looked nothing like the original. That gap has narrowed, especially visually. Some counterfeits now mimic layout and proportions, closely enough that the average person can't tell from across the table. That doesn't mean they're the same, it means the status signal gets noisier. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Luxury brands benefit when the story is simple. Expensive equals elite, and elite equals rare. But when buyers start hearing that a copy can get close enough visually, it forces the market to ask a more brutal question. What exactly are you paying for? Because the real value of a genuine watch isn't just the shape of the case or the color of the bezel. It's the long-term material quality, manufacturing environment, quality control, servicing ecosystem, and the confidence that you can maintain it properly for decades. That's the part marketing loves to imply, but buyers only understand it when something goes wrong and the bill arrives. And those bills are the part nobody wants to say out loud. Under warranty, most owners feel protected, until the watch is out of that window. Then the reality of modern luxury ownership hits. Service costs can be high, turnaround times can be long, and communication can be vague. That's not unique to one brand, but Rolex owners feel it sharply because the brand's identity is literally built on the idea that the watch is effortless. Once it stops feeling effortless, the spell breaks. So what does all of this add up to in 2026? It's not Rolex is finished. That's dramatic nonsense. The brand is still powerful, the watches are still desirable, but the era of blind faith is fading. The market is splitting into two groups, people buying purely for the logo and resale mythology, and people starting to look deeper at engineering, servicing, and what ownership really costs over 10, 20, 30 years. And if you're in that second group, you're going to ask smarter questions before you hand over 5 figures. Here are the practical takeaways. No hype, just reality. First, don't confuse brand prestige with mechanical invincibility. A premium watch can still have design trade-offs. Second, if you're buying modern luxury, factor in long-term servicing like it's part of the purchase price, because it is. Third, understand that the luxury industry isn't only selling you steel and gears, it's selling you a story, and sometimes the story is priced higher than the object. And finally, if you're spending serious money, buy what you'd still love if resale prices drop tomorrow, because markets change, but your wrist is still your wrist. So here's my question for you. If you had to choose today, would you rather pay premium money for the heirloom narrative and accept the long-term service reality that comes with it? Or would you rather buy based purely on engineering value and ignore the logo game completely? Drop your take in the comments.